For decades, we've heard about this in the industry, this whole shift from hydrocarbons to hydrogen now, but it hasn't quite taken flight as we expected. Why now, and how does it all fit into Hyundai's strategy?
Yeah, so we have realized global warming very seriously today, and after the pandemic that we have to prepare better for the global warming. Well, with this ancient fuel cell truck, we want to show the people that the fuel cell is a present-day reality and not a technology for the future. So we will ship this every month from now on, 10 trucks to Switzerland. And yeah, as you said, 1,600 units by 25. Well, to show this now, many people are interested in hydrogen trucks because in truck, there is no alternative powertrain. Batteries will be too heavy for heavy-duty trucks above 34 ton. So I think fuel cell is the right technology for this.
There are still some key obstacles, though, for, I guess, a full adoption of fuel cells. One being the high cost of total cost of ownership, and then there's also the inefficient refueling structures. How do you overcome those?
Well, yeah, it is certainly a problem. Well, we have already mass-produced passenger cars in Korea, and we have already deployed 9,000 fuel cell passenger cars, but we are lacking fuel cell infrastructure. It is clear. But for trucks, it is for the logistics, and I think we can control the hydrogen station even better than passenger cars. By developing a fuel cell truck for the first time in this heavy truck area, well, we found many technologies to improve also. But I think, as you said, the most important thing is the hydrogen infrastructure for refueling. And recently, we have heard the announcement of a German national hydrogen roadmap. And we are waiting for the EU roadmap for hydrogen. And I think we will get better much sooner than we expect.
Quantify that for us, Se-Hoon. As long as the cost remains high, it is hard to get to mass market. When do you see that happening?
Well, many people says that the hydrogen fuel cell technology is expensive, but that is in the past. People are talking about technology 10 years ago. Now we have reduced platinum usage significantly. So let me tell you like this. We had our first Tucson iX35 fuel cell vehicle in 2013, which was the world's first fuel cell vehicle. And the cost by our second generation next, so what you're looking, we have reduced the cost in half. And our next generation system, before 25, will be halved again. So in average 6 years, the cost is coming in half and half. So this is, in the same line with Toyota's announcement also. And I think when we get to the critical mass, our target for production in 2025 is about 110,000 vehicles per year, then we will come to the critical mass of cost reduction.
Battery EVs are already challenging fossil fuel cars in some markets like the UK. Where do you see the biggest demand for the hydrogen cell technology?
Well, in the future, if you go to the Renewable Energy Society, there is only several ways you can use the energy. Of course, you can use solar, sunshine directly, but we have to store it and use it in the later time. So one way is using battery, but battery will not hold for a long time. So in order to use in the seasonal change, and you want to store a large amount, making the sunshine to hydrogen form is the best way to store it and deliver it and use it. So I think people is starting to realize the potential of hydrogen now.
And just to follow up on Haz's question, Se-Hoon, on demand, the fuel cell industry so far has been heavily reliant on government subsidies. And I take a nation like China, for example, that has learned the hard way that it's almost a bad thing to be too reliant on government intervention. What happens to demand then if these subsidies are constrained?
Well, our target is not to use the government subsidy in the future, of course. But you have to remember, every new technology needs, in the initial phase, some subsidy from the government because the cost is very high. And compared to the battery industry, battery has been used and for a large amount, and it has been mass-produced already. You know, the cell phone and batteries for your desktops. So battery already has a long history, but fuel cell compared to that is a very new industry, and there is not many companies who is making this right now. So I think it will take time, but the speed of the cost reduction compared to battery, it is really fast. And I'm sure our target internally is to come to the comparable cost of battery electric vehicles by 25. So the target is quite challenging, and we know that the battery industry is reducing the cost also, but I think we have a good hope on that. We can rely on that result soon. Yeah.
And Sehun, we've talked to automakers that have been very much hit by this coronavirus outbreak. Has the pandemic impacted your production targets, or are you reaching those targets?
No. I think there is no impact in Korea. We are producing as we are planned. Only that Hyundai will not only put our fuel cell systems in Hyundai vehicles. We are trying to provide our technology to other companies and other OEMs or truck makers or bus makers. But because of the impact in the Europe and China, it is very difficult to have a good contact with them. I think just after the pandemic, I think the hydrogen industry will, we will have a better business in the fuel cell area.
How about in terms of other sectors? Do you see other sectors adopting the technology?
When you are you have to cooperate with other overseas companies, it will be impacted. But I think as far as now in the fuel cell technology, Hyundai has, our own technology, and we are improving it. And our supply chain is about 95% in Korea. So we are not so much damaged, I can say.